There she goes again, and I just can't explain. All right. So let me cover this really quick. Zac Efron's talking about his healthy diet here. You know what I mean? So it's like there's this thing he says where it's like cheat meal.
On
Let's
cheat
see
days,
here.
I love to eat massive amounts of pancakes. If I'm doing pancake day, it's a lot of pancakes. I'll go through a whole box of Kodiak cakes. If I'm gonna have a cheat meal,
Kodiak cakes is a high protein pancake mix. So, I say, okay, that doesn't sound so bad as long as they're not like white flour. And so I look here and I say 100% whole grain wheat flour. That's what I'm saying. Like, yeah, blanched almond flour, oat flour. It'd be nice if he had some buckwheat in there. That's good for pancakes. But the problem here is that you go down and it just says the leavening right here is monocalcium phosphate and sodium bicarbonate. Now, monocalcium phosphate, you could get that from, say, animal bones, but you really wouldn't want that. That's really bad for your health. So let's say, because it probably is, but they need to list these things. That's the other thing about these ingredients, so I know for myself if that's from cow's milk or not. Like, you can chemically extract, like what I mean by chemically is like break down different parts of the cow's milk, like how they homogenize it, and get different things out of it. So, that's not really a big deal because if it's from cow's milk, it just is like a road flare though, so it hurts your intestines. Like it'll burn you up. It makes you feel hot and flushed in your face. But the real problem is the sodium bicarbonate. The sodium bicarbonate here, that's what makes him feel inflamed. That's what makes these people need to intermittently fast, is the fact that they eat the sodium. It has sea salt already right below in the ingredients, so you know that that's not supposed to be there. It just is there. What am I trying to say here? So you say, okay, well, don't you need something as leavening? Well, that's what the buttermilk is for, which I already have highlighted right here. What's in it, right? So you say, okay, well, let's look for buttermilk powder. All the natural, normal brands, Anthony's Premium Buttermilk Powder, Bob's Red Mill. Tons of people get different flours and stuff from that. So we'll open it up, those. I'm not going to reference the ones in between because these are all going to have the same ingredients. I'm just going the ones that people use. Now, Real Food, people use that one a lot. So Azure Market, there's another one people use. People have heard of that. Let's see here. Lotus buttermilk powder, just to have an off-brand one that people aren't used to. Now, I'm going to open up all of these. And even this one, this Farm Fresh buttermilk powder. And what do you think I'm going to find in the ingredients of buttermilk powder, which is a leavening agent already in itself? What do you think is going to be in these? I think we can already have the question answered before I look. So I'm like, okay, it's buttermilk powder. Sweet cream buttermilk solids is the ingredients. And it has 40 milligrams of sodium.
So it's actually dishonest.
They're actually selling you sweet cream buttermilk. That's why they usually say sweet cream buttermilk or something. They don't say cow dairy. They're powdering regular sodium-filled, get the fuck out of here, dairy milk. And saying that is now a leavening agent, but there's 40 milligrams of sodium right here.
Yeah, they always get that sodium in there.
So this is a conspiracy. This is not allowed. We need honesty as to, for example, like I was saying before, not only where the monocalcium phosphate comes from, whether it's from milk or not, because it shouldn't come from animal bones. That always needs to be listed. Anything that's suspicious that could be from a bad source needs to have a little miniature description on it. I'm being the FDA. Go fuck yourself. So, generally speaking, this is dishonesty. You can't list the sodium as nutritional facts. You have to list it on the ingredients.
Because it was added.
It was added. So let's go to this. Bob's Red Mill. Tons of people have gotten different things, buckwheat powder and stuff from Bob's Red Mill. And you go to the back. Stop popping up. once again, the very, very particular words, dried sweet cream buttermilk. And then you look up here, sodium 70 milligrams. You're not allowed to dehydrate buttermilk and say that it's a leavening agent when you know everybody's dodging the sodium. That's a criminal offense. You're trying to get people sick. You're trying to get people inflamed who have allergies. All right, let's continue just to prove the point. Now Foods. Powdered buttermilk. This is a brand that came out more recently in like the early 2000s, but a lot of people have seen it. So let's look on the back here. Sodium, 35 milligrams. Let's look at the ingredients. Sweet cream buttermilk powder. 160 milligrams of sodium.
That's a new record.
A new record, ladies and gentlemen. Just proving that people don't want you to escape from their lifestyle. Pasteurized buttermilk is the ingredients in this one. Sodium, 45 milligrams. Non-GMO, huh? I doubt it. If you're fucking lying about sodium. Buttermilk powder. Lotus buttermilk powder. 100% buttermilk. Sodium, 225 milligrams per serving. 450 per 100 milligram serving.
That's actually getting to the point of toxicity.
Yeah, where it's like 100% salt of the sodium variety, which is like doesn't have. They're lying, by the way. When you click on a package and it says sodium, that basically deionized salt has ghost salt, in other words, because it's like shouldn't exist in that state. You need it as a necessary source of some iodide or something. That's bullshit. It's like the other way around. Sea salt has that. Why would you need manufactured salt? Sweet cream buttermilk powder contains milk, sodium, 150 milligrams. You see, I could go on and on and on and on. What's the point in having buttermilk to cook things with, like everybody knows, when it's not replacing the sodium?
Yeah, you're supposed to put in parentheses buttermilk and then the list of ingredients in the buttermilk that you got. You have to list what the ingredients were of the product you used for your product when it carries over. You've seen cookies where they'll say list chocolate chips, then it'll say within the chocolate chips sweet cocoa liqueur, white sugar, and a few other ingredients. Then that goes into the cookies that you buy. But they have to list what was in those chocolate chips.
Right, exactly. I'm just going to look at this. Sodium, 160 milligrams. Buttermilk. Just pointing out that they're like replacing, they're trying to act like as if they'll replace everything, because I don't believe some of this, with sodium as you try to purchase it. Sodium, 90 milligrams. That's like a disgusting amount of salt. You'd vomit.
Oh, you know it's got sodium when they say pure Wisconsin.
Oh, so pure. So my point here is this.
Like, I'm about to make some, like, waffles or pancakes, either way. And I'm just gonna use some fizzy bourbon ale that's, like, aged apple and peach. And then I just put in some, frozen fruit, because it's winter, in with it, and it burns out while it cooks, and it makes you a little drunk, but I mean, not really. I mean, it makes your kids a little giggly, but only for a little while.
Yeah, you're cooking most of it.
And if you want, you can just use some goddamn 25-cent, like, all natural, like, what's that called? One of those fruit sodas that's just sparkling water and fruit. It's higher quality.
Yeah, one of the boozies or something. Are those carbonated? I think so.
Well, I mean, non-alcohol. You can just do sparkling juice.
Yeah.
Like, but the juice essence, not the concentrated juice that's colored.
My point is, look at my boy Zac Efron here. He's so inflamed in his face.
Yeah, he might actually look like the real Zac Efron if he stopped eating so much sodium.
Yeah, right.
He admitted he has to eat massive amounts of foods that deal with sodium just so he isn't inflamed too much to even act.
Yeah, his face is fucked. It's not the elk that's the problem. You know what I mean? Yeah, I mean everybody loves elk when it's well cooked. You know, you got to cook it well or you're gonna die. But you know, too much and you start getting elky. You know, I don't even need to explain what that means. So over here we have like this Kumali Nanjali. I'll just call him Kumali Nanjali. I don't give a shit. He's like, was saying, you know, that he eats like gluten-free bread and shit in his video. And they're all talking about how, yeah, you know, they'll whatever the fuck for hours. I'm like, that's called cancer. Not being able to eat for 24 hours, not being able to eat for 6 hours, having to skip breakfast. That's like getting your calories, your caloric system up to the point where you can even digest. And I know their doctor probably said, you know, it's okay. You know, you just say that and then everybody knows what you mean. But it'd be nice if you were a little more honest so that everybody understands the health situation that a famous person is in so they know that they're not being inadequate. That's all. I know it's hard. You want to be a superhero. Everybody wants to be a superhero to their kids and their pets and their grandma. But
yeah, you know what I tell myself? That I never would have suffered from my cancer at all much if I had just, you know, been getting hot pussy.
yeah, that's another really important thing. All the dieting, all the exercise, if you're not doing it for someone, if you're not doing it for a relationship, if you can't fuck in between going to the gym and do everything, your pain threshold is going to be so high. It's going to be so insanely high. I'd recommend like some sort of hemp tea so that, you know, you got like, you sweat it out while you're exercising, then you fuck afterwards so the lactic acid doesn't build up in your muscles as much, or else you're just going to be in terrible pain. That's really what they say about it getting harder to work out.
Yeah.
That pain. Not fucking, well, that pain goes up.
For me, my workout just changed. I can't do a bunch of sets of something ever anymore because I shift so much.
Exactly. So, you know, everybody, they can go back to eating any of the baked foods they want if it's buttermilk without sodium. I mean, I don't know. I believe that's the way it works. You might as well, hey, Zac Efron, if you want to take my advice, you know, you should fucking pay me. But also, just because you're all obsessed with working out, but like the natural way, you're outside of this fucking log cabin here, like, you know, acting like you're all natural. Well, on like a bale of hay. Why don't you just churn some butter right on this porch, you know? You're churning the butter, you know, like you're churning your dick butter because you know, you don't got nobody in your life yet. You work out too much, so, you know, your muscles hurt because you don't exchange hormones with anybody. So, you know, then you do it right to the right point where then it's, you know, buttermilk instead of butter. And it's like a little bit of exercise, like enough to get a muscle pump every day, but not enough to where like you're actually getting a full exercise so then you can like finish off with some other exercises. That way you have your own buttermilk too. You know? Have somebody's cow, slap it on the udder, squeeze its milk out. You want to be all natural.
I don't think you actually said what the other Indian guy's thing was about eating.
Well, he ate just cake, which isn't good. He was just like talking about regular cake too. I was like, I don't know about that. So yeah, he needs to be eating healthier options. Like, I don't know. He eats a bunch of,
Am I the only fucking person in the universe who, like, wants to go online / to the local stores and, like, build the ultimate pantry?
Yeah, you gotta be...
Yeah.
I mean, you might as well just come to our house and point a camera at me, but then you'll have to build me a new house because my house is so embarrassingly, disgustingly deplorable that, you know, and broken down because it's not my house anyways, that, yeah. All he was saying is he likes peas, and if he thinks about them the right way.
A few months, I don't think your brain can tell the difference between potato chips and sugar snap peas. That's a lie. You know every single time. How did I become this person?
You became this person because you hate feeling bad, like Zac Efron was saying, like, you know, your emotional state is terrible when you eat garbage. That's how you became that person. Potato chips are fine if they have sea salt. That's the same issue. It's the connection over sodium. Just get yourself, I have an Amazon wish list, some sea salt potato chips. I don't know why you can't walk down to the store and get them, but I know those assholes, somebody walks to the store and then charges you way too much, but I mean, you were in Eternals, and that's the biggest movie in my heart, so you made a bunch of money because I say you did, so go get some fucking potato chips. I don't know.
Yeah, like, where's the infinite variety of nuts, mixes, and stuff? And, like, granola.
Mm-hmm.
Man, if I had moolah, I would always be eating nuts.
Yeah, he'd be eating so many nuts you'd call him Squirrel Boy instead of Girl.
Oh, hell no. I just imagine if I somehow got delegated to some role like that I really didn't connect to. That's not fair to anyone.
Explosion.
Yeah.
Okay, anyway. That's the end of my live stream about this, so see you around. Goodbye. Mwah.